Okaeri, welcome back to my channel, May Between the Pages. My name is Taylor, and today we're going to be doing my April TBR. You're cute. Now, as I mentioned, starting last month, these TBR videos are going to have a whole new section at the beginning, which is going to be talking about the page-toing episodes that are coming this month. Now, I am so incredibly excited to announce that this month we have two very big names coming to the page-toing interview stage. The first of those being Fonda Lee. That's right, Fonda motherfucking Lee is coming on my channel, and I am so excited. Anyone who knows me knows that I am a Green Bone Saga fangirl. I am obsessed with that world. It's one of my all-time favorite fantasy series. And I just feel so blessed and excited to have the chance to talk to the creator of such a fantastic world. Not only will we be talking about the Green Bone Saga, but it will be, I think, the day after the official release of Untethered Sky, which is her newest novella coming out from Tor. So we will be discussing that a little bit. I'm really hoping to get my hands on it and read it in that time frame, that 24-hour time frame. I would probably do that anyway, whether we were interviewing her or not, because it's Fonda Lee and I love her work. But we will be talking about Untethered Sky as well as the Green Bone Saga and her career as a writer in general. For those of you who've watched the page-toing episodes, we don't usually focus on one specific work from the author or one aspect of their career. It's usually a bit broader, and we ask a lot of questions about how they got where they are today. So even if you haven't read the Green Bone Saga, which, what are you doing, first off, with your life? But if you haven't, you can still very much watch and enjoy this episode. Her interview will be on the 13th of April, and it will be hosted on my channel. Our second episode is going to be with Gareth Powell, who is a multiple award-winning juggernaut in the UK science fiction scene. We are again delighted to have him on page-toing and can't wait to pick his brain about all of his successful career moves over the years. And his episode will be over on Steve's channel on the 23rd of April. As usual, times and further details about the interviews will be forthcoming on all social media, especially Twitter. So make sure that you're following myself, PL, and Steve to get those updates. Now let's talk about what I'm going to be reading in April. Now, I have been in my mood reading era, and so far it's serving me pretty well. I had a fantastic reading month in May. No, not May. Good Lord. I'm having a hard time filming today. What are words? I had a fantastic reading month in March, but I did veer off what I had planned to read a little bit, which means that there are quite a few rollovers from last month to this month that I'm still really interested in getting to. Another factor in this TBR is I have started maternity leave as of this month. So I'm not really sure if that's going to be allowing me more time to read or less time, because I have a lot of other things I still need to do before baby makes an appearance. So it could go both ways, but if it ends up that I have more time to read, which may be the case, I'm really hoping that I can go through a lot of these books because a lot of them are really high on my priority and I truly want to read them. Of course, I am going to leave room for flexibility here because, like I said, I have been mood reading like no one's business recently. The first one is one that I'm 100 gazillion% going to get to though, and that is Elder Epoch by Zamil Akhtar. This is the third book in the Gunmetal God series, which I have been so lucky to receive an ARC for. Zamil reached out to me and said, would you want one? And I was like, do you even have to ask? Yes, please put it in my inbox and I will make it my top priority for April. And he was like, say no more. And I'm so happy to say that it has arrived. I have it. And I just finished my current read, actually, which was Jade City. It was a reread. So now I am ready for my next physical read. And best believe it's going to be this book. He has been wonderful enough to offer to send me a physical ARC, so I will be happy to have that on my shelves when it arrives. But who knows how long shipping from Dubai is going to take to get to Japan. We don't want to depend on that. So I also have an ebook copy on my Kindle, so I will be picking that up hopefully tonight. The next book I have on my list is a placeholder spot for the pick for the Only Good Book Club. This is one that I read every month with the book club. That was not necessary to say that twice. I am filming challenged today. Words are hard. I read a book every month with the Only Good Book Club. That's what I was trying to say. That's the words that I was trying to get out of my mouth. But we haven't picked the one for this month yet, so it will be a surprise book that I'll talk about in my wrap-up, but I will be reading some book in this slot of my TBR. Speaking of reserved spots in the TBR, The Shadow of What Was Lost. This was the book that I picked from my physical TBR jar last month, and I am extremely excited to get to this. My desire to read it was very pure last month, but it got swept aside for my reread of Jade City, which I didn't expect to take quite as long as it did, in a good way. I was really enjoying spending a lot of time being back in Kekon with all of my favorite characters, so I don't really regret the fact that it pushed back my other physical reads, but it did take a lot longer than I had planned in my schedule, so I did not get to this chunker. So I'm rolling this over because, like I said, I really want to read this. I'm still in a classic fantasy mood, and I really think this is going to scratch that itch. Another TBR jar rollover, but this one I have a reason for, is Cytonic by Brandon Sanderson. So this is a rollover because after I pulled this from the TBR jar 2 months ago, I realized that I had to read all of the novellas from the Skyward Flight series before picking this up. Well, actually, that's not true. I should have read just the first 2 novellas from Skyward Flight and found out after reading it that the 3rd novella should actually be read after this book. I didn't know that, so I've read all 3 now. Maybe it'll be a little bit of spoilers for Cytonic, I'm not sure. But now that I've actually read those 3 novellas, I can finally move forward with Cytonic. So I do consider that TBR jar pick to be kind of covered and read because I had to read 3 extra novellas for that. But I do still want to actually check that box. So I will be reading Cytonic this month as well. Then I think I'll be caught up on the Skyward World, right? Is this a quartet? Does anyone know how many books are planned to be in this series? If so, let me know in the comments down below. The next book I plan to read, and another one that I think will scratch that classic feeling itch that I've had, is The Way of Edan by Philip Chase. Now, if you're in any of the same spaces that I am in the adult fantasy pocket of BookTube, you've heard of this book, and rightfully so. Philip is a wonderful fellow booktuber. I've been so lucky and blessed to be on his channel multiple times for Dear Dr. Fantasy and for some book discussions, and he's also graced the page-chewing stage. And he's released the first book in his trilogy, The Way of Edan. And so far, I have heard some incredible reviews from all different types of readers who have same tastes to me, different tastes to me. Everyone really seems to be enjoying this book and saying that the quality is just tippy top. So I will be purchasing a copy for myself for my ebook and making sure to get to that this month. I'm really excited for it. I'm interested in a lot of the themes that Philip said would come up in this book, but the one that has really gripped me and made me so excited to pick this up is the theme of religion as a power structure and a source of power within society, not just a concept of faith. And that is something that I love in my fantasy. I've talked about that a lot on my channel in the past, and I can't wait to see Philip dig into this because from conversations that we've had in the past, I think he is more than well equipped to make this a fascinating aspect of this world. The next slot in this TBR is going to be for SPFBO 8, which is coming to a close very soon, actually, and I still have 3 books from the finalists that I need to read. Again, you don't have to read all of the books in the finalists for this because I'm part of a team, so we're all reading different books, and all of the books will get, you know, plenty of reviews and plenty of love, but I've personally decided that I want to read them all. So I have 3 more that I need to read. I want to read them all, but it doesn't have to be by the end of the competition, if that makes sense, because that's just a lot to ask of myself. So before the competition ends, there's definitely at least one more that I want to read. So the three I have left to choose from are The Umbral Storm, Fire of the Forebears, and Tethered Spirits. I'm going to choose one of these three and make sure I have that read by the end of the competition and my review set and ready to go for Before We Go blog. But I'm not exactly sure which one that'll be right now. Now, there were two big main audiobooks that I said that I wanted to get through in March, and neither of those audiobooks came in from my library in time to actually read them in March. But at the very end of March, beginning of April, both of them came in at the same time, of course, right? So that was Before They Are Hanged by Joe Abercrombie and this monster, Assassin's Quest by Robin Hobb. So both of these audiobooks came in at almost the exact same time. This chonker is an extremely long audiobook. I think it's like 30 or 35 hours. So I don't want to do them both at the same time. But I've heard from everyone that the audiobooks are an amazing way to go for both of these books. So what I did was I got Before They Are Hanged from the library, and then I pushed back my hold on Assassin's Quest until halfway through the month. So I'm planning to listen to this audiobook in the first half of the month, and then this one in the second half of the month. We'll see if that goes according to plan. But both of these are books that I really wanted to get to. They're both sequels that I've heard will either kind of make or break my love for this series, the series that these pertain to. Oh, it's one of those days. You know what I'm saying? That both of these are going to be pivotal points to whether I enjoy the series or not, is what I'm trying to say. So, hopefully they both, come through and I end up enjoying both of them. But before I start Before They Are Hanged, I actually have to finish my current audiobook, which is Dance of Thieves by Mary E. Pearson. I'm only 15% of the way through this, but every time I sit down to listen to it, I really blow through it, and I'm enjoying my ride. So far, it's an enemies to lovers YA story about thieves, and I love Pearson's writing. I loved her previous series, what's it called? The Remnant Chronicles. I adore that, which is why I picked this book up, and her writing just really seems to work for me in this case as well. So I'm 15% of the way through, but I think I'm going to blow through this quite quickly, and then I'll move on to the other two that I just mentioned. So after all of those, that just leaves me with my mood reading. Whatever I feel like picking up, I'm gonna let myself pick up, whether it be physical or from my ebook. Since a lot of my physical books are big, I've really been enjoying delving into my ebook collection. I've amassed more than I thought I had, especially using Kindle Unlimited. So I've really been enjoying just going in here and picking what sounds good. Dragon Mage has been pulling my attention a lot recently, but maybe I'll want something shorter. I'm really not sure. So we'll see what I end up picking up from here. Also, I need to get to the Obelisk Gate, right? That's another one I really want to get to as well. That is a physical read from the library here in Japan that I can get. So we'll see how this fits in. It's kind of going to be part of the mood reading section of this month as well. And we'll see if I'm down for picking up something that brain heavy, because I imagine Jemisin's going to make me use my brain cells. So that's another one that is also on my radar. So basically, I've got some rollovers, I've got some high priority books, and then we'll see what I mood read. Let me know in the comments down below, what are you reading for April? Are you in your mood reading era like me? Or are you doing really well with your TBR so far and really sticking to it? I would love to chat in the comments down below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and click that bell. I'd love to have you as part of this community, and I appreciate it. But for now, I'm gonna head out. Johnny!